Thanks for joining me today at Learnwake. My name is Brandon Judd, and I'm responding to Stuart's video analysis request of his Heelside Frontside 360 attempt at a wake park. And it looks like this is on a System 2.0 or similar, and he's working on his 360 off of this ramp here. In Stuart's submission, Stuart, you mentioned that you get about 1 in 10 of these, and you're just looking to improve your consistency. And we can definitely help you with that today. So before I get into some of the details, let's just take a quick look generally at this video and watch your attempts so everyone can catch up. So it looks like a bit of a bail on that one. The 2.0 does pull your arms in kind of a weird, really high position. So we may have to adjust your edge a little bit to make that a little easier. And then I also notice another thing that's happening is you're over-rotating a little bit. So there's a little bit of where you're putting your head. My guess is that the 9 falls that you're having between these ones where you're falling forward over your toes. There's those ones, or there's where you over-rotate and slip out over your heels. It looks like you're kind of alternating between the two. So nice work on landing this one. Yeah, so this is a pretty common issue, especially with these 2.0 systems with the rope so short. It puts it really high at this kind of awkward position for you. So let's take a deeper look at this and pick out a few things. So the first we're going to talk a little bit about is your approach. So when you edge in, the 2.0 does some weird things. When you edge in, it feels like it gives you some room, and then it sways back and starts to pull at you. A little bit of that is happening here. So it looks like you edged out past center, center being directly underneath the 2.0 system here. You edged out past center and then kind of chilled on your toes for a minute and then edged again on your heels. And this sort of like S turn into here is going to give you some weird tension. So let's look a little bit about how that tension did. So if you'll watch this when you go into the air, it will kind of sway the other way and give you a bit of a tug. And since it's coming from such a short, sensitive pull, and it's so angled that way, that's one of the reasons that you get tilted kind of off balance here. So some of the solutions actually comes in this edge. I would not edge out that far and then come back in and then come out again. I would stay underneath the cable a little more consistently for a second and take a more mellow edge toward the ramp. You just don't want to be edging hard, and then when you go up the ramp, you're going to have this pull backwards. You want to have a nice consistent flow toward that ramp, and then the pull back is minimal. And you definitely want to still flatten off right before, so you don't slip out up the ramp. It's a very sensitive thing. This cable system, the way that the rope is so short. So I'm sure you're used to kind of fighting that, but that's pretty standard with that. So fixing that edge would prevent it from yanking so hard. But you still could have fought through that had you done it right in the air. So there's ways you could get through that, and I'm going to talk about that next. But again, you can see when you start to edge, you sit down really hard, and your arms are all the way out. When you're edging in for a spin, I would recommend having your arms not quite as far out, but you don't want them pinned to your chest either. You just want them in the middle. Right now, because they're so far out, if the line tugs on you at all, it's just going to pull you forward, which happens in the air on some of these. So if you're all the way in and you get some slack, then you can't adjust for that at all. So you just kind of want to be elbows bent just gently, so you have a little bit of reaction time to give on that, so that you're not getting just so yanked around by this. And again, it's super hard because of the short rope. Just the nature of it is really sensitive. And then this is good as you stand tall. The other thing here is you're starting to throw your upper body, and I've got a drill for you for this part. But this is the bigger issue for the line tension and the landing position. We've got to get this part right as well. If this part is right, you can fight through some of those line tension issues. But you don't want to initiate with your eyes. You want to initiate more with your hips and with your board. And don't throw your shoulders into it really hard. But this position's good, where you get the handle, which is nice. It's just that your upper body is still a little ahead of your lower body. And then what happens here is because of that, your lower body keeps going and rotates a little too far because your head looks back the way that you're going. It's really hard to see here. But that causes you to lean back really hard and fall over your heels and slip out. I think you can see it. I think this is another one as well. I can't remember the sequence of this, but your upper body is slightly ahead of your lower body in the rotation. And then when you land looking directly down the path of the cable, and your board actually over rotates just a hair. And then because the rope is up so high as well, it gets you kind of on your heels for the landing, and then you over rotate and slip out. So that I think is your biggest issue. Whereas that one was a little better. You just yanked. I don't know if you saw that or felt that. Right here, when you stand tall, you pull really hard with the handle, which gives you a ton of slack right here, which is nice. Although you do pitch over really hard, like over too much on axis. And then when the handle catches back up, it's really tight and really hard to hold on to. So it's just too dramatic of a yank with the handle. But honestly, it's not bad. It's just a couple things we need to adjust, and everything will work out. One is getting a little bit smoother, more consistent edge into the ramp. The other one is slowing your upper body down and getting your lower body to push you through it. I have a drill for that. We have to adapt this drill from the boat to the wake park. But I would recommend going on to Learnwake and looking at this video. It's called Toe Side Backside 180s Learning the Landing. The finish 180 of your Heelside Frontside 360. So you have a Heelside Frontside 180 first, and then the second 180 in that spin is a switch toe side backside 180. This is going to help you not feel like you have to whip past that second 180 in that really uncomfortable part of the trick. So if you've got this dialed, you're going to be able to resist the tension from the cable. You're going to resist the tendency to over rotate, and you'll be much more confident landing this. So I would take this drill and ignore the wake, but instead I would just stay in the middle of the cable, directly underneath the pole, and I would just do this in like sliding on the surface, and then eventually ollieing, and that will help you a ton. And then eventually you can edge out just next to the kicker, and you can do that like ollie backside 180, switch toe side, right as you pass the kicker. So you'll edge past it on the cable side of it, and then as soon as you pass it, you can ollie and then practice that landing in the exact same position. So let me pop back over here and just kind of draw this on here for you. So right where you are right now, this is where you're going to practice landing. So you're going to edge in as if you're going to hit this ramp, but then you just back off a little bit and coast past it on the inside, and then do a switch toe side backside ollie 180, and you're going to start out in the cuffed position, and this is going to help you with the landing position of that to make it very comfortable and familiar when you start doing it in the air. So that I may have gotten ahead of myself on the description of that, but that will all make sense once you watch this video.
As you turn through the 180.
So it's really, really good. helps you. It's really awkward, so expect it to be awkward, but it really helps your awareness and comfort level in the cuffed riding position, especially impacting in that position if you are landing a Heelside Frontside 360. That landing position is really kind of weird, especially when you have a ton of line tension. So watch this video and then practice it at the cable right here where I had mentioned before, and that should solve a lot of that for you and ingrain the right muscle memory. So thanks again, Stuart, for uploading the video. We really appreciate those submissions. Good luck with this, and if you have any other questions, feel free to hit us up. Thanks again.